Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel BioExplorer. I'm Dimujja Ratna. This is an educational channel and this channel will be very useful to improve your biological knowledge. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about the cell cycle. The cell cycle. The cell cycle can be thought of as the life cycle of a cell. The sequence of events that takes place in the cell from the end of one cell division to the end of the next cell division is referred to as cell cycle. It is the series of growth and development steps that a cell undergoes between its birth and reproduction. At the end of the cell division, two genetically identical daughter cells resembling the parent cell are produced in mitosis. A cell completes several important tasks to divide as a series of steps that make up the cell cycle. Eukaryotic cell cycle may be divided into two major phases as interphase and mitotic phase. During interphase, cell growth occurs and makes a copy of its DNA. During the mitotic phase, the cell will divide, producing two identical daughter cells. Interphase. Interphase is the longest phase of the cell division. It covers about 90% of the cell cycle. Interphase could be divided into three phases as G1 phase, that is first gap phase, second one F phase, that is synthetic phase, third one G2 phase, that is second gap phase. G1 phase. In this phase, synthesis of proteins and production of cellular organelles leading to cell growth occurs. Proteins essential for S phase are produced during this phase. S phase. DNA replication occurs, synthesizing a complete copy of the DNA in its nucleus. Synthesis of histone proteins takes place. DNA winds around histone beds and form chromatin. Centrosomes are also duplicated that help to separate DNA during M phase. G2 phase. Cells continue to grow through protein synthesis as well as cellular organelles. Proteins essential for the mitotic phase will be synthesized. Cell begins to reorganize its contents in preparation for mitosis. There are cell cycle controlling checkpoints available at G1, G2 and M phases to ensure that the cell is ready for moving into upcoming phases of cell division. If it does not receive a go-ahead signal, it may exit the cycle, entering into a non-dividing stage called the G0 phase. Cells in the G0 phase are not actively preparing to divide, they are just doing their job. Most cells of the human body are actually in the G0 phase. Examples: nerve cells and muscle cells. G0 is a permanent state for some cells, while others may restart division if they get the right signals. Now, let's study about cell cycle checkpoints. As mentioned before, they examine internal and external cues and decides whether or not to move forward with division. The three most important checkpoints in the cell cycle are G1 checkpoint, G2 checkpoint and the spindle checkpoint. G1 checkpoint. It is located at the G1 S transition. G1 checkpoint chooses the cell whether or not to divide. The cell that passes G1 checkpoint will continue its cell cycle, resulting two daughter cells. It is located at the G1 S transition. G1 checkpoint chooses the cell whether or not to divide. The cell that passes G1 checkpoint will continue its cell cycle, resulting 2 daughter cells. At the G1 checkpoint, few factors are checked to ensure whether the internal and external conditions are right for division. Some of them are size, nutrients, molecular signals, and DNA integrity. If the cell does not receive positive cues at the G1 checkpoint because of above factors are not sufficient for division, the cell will leave the cell cycle and enter G0 phase. The G2 checkpoint. It is located at the G2M transition. At this stage, the cell will check DNA integrity and DNA replication. If errors or damage are detected, the cell cycle is halted and allows to either complete DNA replication or to repair the damaged DNA. If the repairing damage is impossible, the cell may undergo apoptosis, which is a self-destruction mechanism that causes cell death. The spindle checkpoint. It is located at the transition from metaphase to anaphase. Here, the cell checks whether all the sister chromatids are correctly attached to the spindle microtubules. If a chromosome is misplaced, the cell will pause mitosis, allowing the spindle to capture the stray chromosomes. Mitotic phase, that is also called M phase. M phase covers only about 10% of cell cycle. This includes mitosis and cytokinesis. So that's for today. Hope you enjoy this video and gain lot of interesting facts about cell cycle for your biological knowledge. So please subscribe this channel and click the bell icon. See you in the next video.